Ayawaso West Wogon happened. There was a commission. There were recommendations. The recommendations have not been implemented so far. Condition number 1 is that let us see full implementation of the recommendations of Ayawaso West Wogon Commission of Inquiry, which was established by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo himself. And we believe that he trusted in the judgment of the commissioners. That is how come some of them have proceeded to be Supreme Court judges. Number 2, we want to see initiation of prosecution in respect of the perpetrators of the killings in Techiman South, Ablikuma Central, Banda, and Odododio. We want to see prosecution initiated in respect of the illegal printing and handling of several, about 1 million extra ballot papers that were intercepted and were destroyed by the police in our presence, and the records were taken. We don't see what the Ghana Police Service has been waiting for all these years. And even at some point, there was an orchestration to even, lie on us that we rather were guilty of that crime. And so we officially sent our lawyers to report to the IGP that we are interested in that case. It must be investigated and then prosecutions done when found necessary. We have not heard anything about it. We want action on it now. Otherwise, the next election, the same people can go and now print more than 2 million. Number 4, there is an active case of missing IT equipment from the warehouses of the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has not been open to us. We suspect that the equipment is not missing, and they are being hidden for some unwholesome agenda. Because anytime we talk about it, they say the suspects have been arrested, and that's all. Were the suspects arrested and the exhibits found on them, or we still don't know the whereabouts of the equipment, and that the suspects are being held responsible for being the watchdogs? We don't have any information about it. And we are going into election. And the same equipment is going to be used in the election ahead of us. So we want transparency about that. Because of that, we have our confidence in the IT systems at the Electoral Commission has been shaken. And we have a history in 2012 where our colleagues from MPP found it necessary to compel the state and our development partners to field an external consultant to actually investigate the whole IT setup of the Electoral Commission, and brought out recommendations for implementation before the election took place. Our friends from UNDP, I'm sure you will get the evidence on your files that that project was financed by the UNDP. I think we can look at that one so that to put our hearts at rest, that nothing untoward is happening in the face of missing equipment and the type of things that are happening, discrepancies between registration figures and all that. We must ensure and assure our supporters that nothing fishy is happening there. Because we know that the last commissioner that was appointed, Mr. Apiahene, was a regional election director of the NPP before his appointment. So we wrote to produce evidence of his activities, his appointments, and all that, presented them that a full member of NPP cannot be a referee in these elections. We presented evidence. They were ignored. He is still there. And consultants have been engaged to support the Electoral Commission on our blind side, because procurement of consultancy services is a public procurement activity. We are not aware that any such procurement has gone through the procurement procedures. For everybody to know that these consultants actually mean well, and they are the non-partisan type of consultants that are helping Electoral Commission with their IT systems. And we want, point number 5, the president to declare openly on a state platform, not on his political party platform, that he will respect the will of the people as expressed by the outcome of the 2024 December election results. When the president himself does an open declaration, I'm sure it will bring to rest, it will put to rest all the noise that is happening around us about their refusal or unpreparedness to hand over power, even if they lose the elections. The voice of the leader counts, so that he will rein in all his functionaries and appointees, that we are all working according to the will of the people. Then finally, before any such document, Peace Pact is submitted to us for signature, we want to see the IGP sign into that document. We want to see the Chief Justice sign into that document. We want to see the Attorney General sign into that document. And we want to see the National Security Coordinator sign into that document. If all of them sign, and the monitoring group commits itself to the policy of naming and shaming publicly anybody who reneges on his obligation as far as implementation of the electoral laws of this country are concerned, we think that we will have the way forward. Thank you very much, and you are welcome. Yes.
Mr. Chairman and my brethren, we've heard all the concerns that the indefatigable chairman of the National Democratic Congress has presented. But to start with, I would want to draw our attention to the fact that in my language, it is said that the strength of the lion is in the waist. That is where the strength is. But if you look at the waist, it looks like one of the smallest parts of the body of that lion. That waist is the National Peace Council. And Ghana brought together, particularly the political parties, are the real body of this lion. Our strength, therefore, is your strength is in us as you wished. And since your strength is in us as you wished, it is you who can make that waist of ours much stronger to be able to serve the purpose that you expect of it. Now, we have reached out to you. You've come out with quite a number of proposals, very good ones, I believe. Those proposals coming out from you and drawing our attention to the fact that we have been inactive in certain areas, which you expected us to be proactive, should tell us and the whole world that if right from today an issue of that nature comes up from your party and we take you on for doing this or that thing, you would agree with us that it is the strength that you have given us to enhance your waste. We are reaching out to the new patriotic party as well. I can assure you that this will be about the same or similar issues that they will bring up. At the end of the day, those issues that they would bring up to me and from our thinking will amount to a commitment on their part too. Because they have demanded that of us, just as the new National Democratic Congress is demanding this of us. And in that case, therefore, if they should do something that merits our naming and shaming, they would understand that they gave us, they strengthened our waist and demanded that we do it that way. And therefore, they may not have the moral, authority to say or to condemn what we have done. The same with the National Democratic Congress. It is the reason why I've said that let bygone be bygone. But when I talk of the bygone being bygone, I did not say that we should forget that things happened. We must continue to remember them. That's part of our history. And you cannot make progress if you don't know your history. We certainly must bring it on board to help us to be able to understand and know what we want to do. This committee that we have put in place certainly is clothed with the needed authority to be able to do the number of things, the very many of them that we say we would want to do, because the committee did not put itself in place. It is a subcommittee of the National Peace Council, and it answers to the National Peace Council. And it is the reason why my humble self, as a member of the National Peace Council, is the chairman of this very committee, which goes to suggest that they have the permission, the go-ahead of the National Peace Council to do the necessary things which we have outlined and we've sold out to the political parties and Ghanaians in general, that we would want us to go this way. As far as we are concerned, we do not believe that it is ever late to do anything, particularly things that are human in nature. But we must also accept the fact that as a committee, as against powerful people like the politicians, we have our limits and we can push to the end. Just like we normally say, you can force a horse to the riverside, but you cannot force it to drink. Now, we are saying that, giving the commitment that we will push and do the best that we can to the last end where our arms can stretch up to. And we may not be able to go beyond that. And you would agree with me that we cannot go beyond that. For instance, if the NDC agrees and the MPP agrees that we should name and shame them if they go contrary to what is expected of them, then of course they will have no cause to blame us for naming them or shaming them. But that must come from you. The act that puts the Peace Council in place is not that elaborate, and when you read it, that it does not anywhere go near giving the Peace Council some of the things that you as well as myself, I believe should have been part of that act. They are not there. So that leaves us in a vacuum. Therefore, what is it that we do? We can only fill it up. I'm not a legal mind, but we can only fill it up with the mandate that you will give us and the mandate that your other colleagues will give us. We can stand on the strength of that as a moral right to do certain things without you being able to come out to say this or that. For instance, God forbid, if tomorrow the chairman of the National Democratic Council sitting down here, tomorrow he makes a statement that is fiery, and immediately we jump on him to say, why did you do this? He will not turn around to say that in the past some other people did that, why didn't you try to check them? More so because this, we have met you, that mandate is coming out from you now. We are going to meet the others too. That mandate, I believe, will come out of them. So that you, obviously, if we therefore go that line, you may not be able to say, oh, why did you go this? And you would not refer us back to the past, that, oh, some years ago it didn't get it. We are opening a new leaf. And that is just what we are pleading with you. That let us open a new leaf. Let us advise ourselves with what has already taken place to help us to chalk the way forward. You agree with me that the Peace Council hasn't got that muscle that will force any legal body in this country to come out to do this or do that. What mandate we have it, like you are putting up, is to let them know that we abhor that. It is not a proper thing for Ghana. And we plead with you to please do this or do that and rectify that situation. I believe if we are able to do that much, you will be able to agree with us that we just couldn't have gone beyond that. For instance, I don't have that capacity to go out, when I say me, the Peace Council, to go out to fish out the people who killed others during political campaigning and so on and so forth. I don't have that capacity. If even I get them, I don't have the capacity to prosecute them for doing this or doing that. Those who have the capacity to do the prosecution, they must do the prosecution. Yes, I will agree with you if you say that it is our moral duty to impress upon them and insist that they should do it. That is what our reaching out to you is all about, so that you give us some kind of respite, and allow us to do what you will expect us to do. If from now onwards we are found failing, then you will have right. After all, the platforms are always there. You can call us back. But this is what we agreed. For instance, just look at the last suggestion that the chairman came out with, that the Inspector General of Police should sign that agreement, the Army Commander should sign that agreement, the Ward and Ward should sign that agreement. Yes, that is plausible. That is true. Because the one who will implement the thing, those who have that duty and the constitutional mandate to implement those things must sign that we will do this or do that. I would want to believe that that certainly should be in line. You get me? But then, if we even come to this, that itself will tell you that in the past agreements, a peace pact that we signed, this clause was not there. But there is always a time for everything. Now that we started thinking that no, in order to help us really to make those peace pacts we sign meaningful, the implementation should be there, and we should put in place mechanisms that will ensure that those implementations are put in place. For instance, if the Inspector General of Police fails to arrest people who have killed others at a political rally, and he fails to prosecute them, then that would